a new character request, loads of different requests for this character, and I wanted to put together the best moveset for this character. He's completely different, and my goal for this is to give Jon Arbuckle the vote of confidence from the community out there for maybe a potential second wave if we get one, if we get a different game or just a new Nickelodeon crossover platform fighter, to show that Jon Arbuckle has fighter potential. And that was the goal for this request that I put together. He's not in the game, there's no leaks, we don't know if we're gonna get a second wave, we don't know what's gonna happen for this game, and I'm gonna continue to do this series for everyone out there for their requests, and just I want to keep the requests going for these potential fighters that belong, characters that I think can really have a fighting chance to be able to get in to the game and the roster to shine. And one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit so it won't be too loud, but I turned off some of the settings so the sounds as I go through the menus and navigate doesn't get too noisy, so everybody can be able to listen in. You do not have to watch the full video. This is all about DLC potential and how I think the character can get into the game and how they can fight, and if they get in, how I think they will play. If anything, you are welcome to add on to the moveset. You are welcome to change things if you want and share your ideas in the live premiere today, or you can post them up in the actual video comments once the premiere is over if you want to share more of some other things that you want to make changes to Jon, and maybe some stages or just any other things that you would change about this particular character for what he could possibly do, and what you would probably add on and for your own ideas as well. So I came up with my own ideas. I ended up going back to watch Garfield and Friends. Ended up going back to watch some of the old clips. I haven't even watched it in so long, so just a memory refresher. I ended up learning some things that I did not know about Jon Arbuckle at the time when I was little watching the show. Because just like when you watch some of these old cartoons and these shows, if some of these characters, you just end up picking up and learning what some of the characters were saying and what they meant and what they were going through when you go and watch these shows and the episodes, and you get to watch the characters grow and learn and get better and improve in their journeys all the way through, which is why I love watching these cartoons and these shows, even for anime shows out there as well. You get to see the journey from start to finish and see where they end up, and if things get better for them and who they run into, and they meet great characters along the way. And life for Jon Arbuckle hasn't really been the best, and his confidence is not that great when it comes to the ladies. And we're going to get ready to start talking about the character and getting to know Jon Arbuckle for this game. And we just recently got Iroh, just to show that because some people had it confused when I did the Hazel moveset request that took a long time to put together. They noticed that Iroh was missing, but that was a pre-recorded, so this is a few days after Iroh's release. So he came out last Friday, so this is the week after Iroh's release. So we already got him in the game. He's the newest character. Hopefully he isn't the last, and characters like Jon Arbuckle can be able to get into the game and be able to add on to more than what we gotten. We can get more stages. We don't need to have just two new stages after all this time, and we can get so much more for this game. But let's start talking about all things Garfield throughout this video. The timestamps are going to be there, and then even during this live premiere, you guys can also just head into the description or click into the description, and you can read on with what I came up with for Jon Arbuckle. You can even scroll straight down into his moveset, and you can see his costumes and more. So I'm not just talking about the character. I came up with my own ideas that I typed up, and with some of the references that I could find, and I'm also posting up some of the clips that y'all can be able to watch. Hopefully it'll let me post all those different clips, because the descriptions, the actual video description has a character limit, and I've exceeded some of the character limits sometimes, so I had to delete some links and remove some of them just to make sure everything I wanted to get out and share with my certain ideas with certain characters was able to be post it up in the description so everybody could be able to see and read on through if you don't want to watch the full premiere. I'm not sure how long this is going to be, but that's why I just like creating these, just sharing the story instead of just jumping right into the ideas and things like that, so people can get to know the character. If they haven't seen the series, they haven't seen much of Garfield, he is a solo rep in this game. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Odie as well. I already did a moveset request for Odie if y'all want to check that out as well, of how he could play. He has a good chance of getting in, considering the fact he's a background character like Mr. Krabs was in the Bun Wrestling Ring. Odie is a background character in the Full Dream stage from Garfield. So he's a solo rep. The second wave DLC can probably add on to more characters that are currently solo reps from their shows. Ren and Stimpy, Invader Zim, for example, and so on and so forth. But let's get into all things Garfield for now. Let's start talking about Jon Arbuckle's story so people can be able to get to know this character. So Jon Arbuckle is Garfield and Odie's owner, and he's also very clumsy. You'll be able to end up finding out because things end up going wrong when he's trying to get through the day and whatever he's doing for the day, and he gets bored easily. But let's just start talking about a little bit more about Jon Arbuckle. Just like Garfield, he loves lasagna. He's a cartoonist and dreams of one day becoming a famous cartoonist, and is sometimes seen cooking up a variety of recipes in the kitchen that turn into disasters. But no matter how challenging, no matter what he goes through for challenges and, you know, whatever adversity he faces, he always maintains a positive attitude. He enjoys himself regardless of what anyone thinks of him. And just like I mentioned, not everybody is a big fan of Jon Arbuckle, and even someone out there, some of y'all out there don't think he belongs in this game. Some people don't think he should be a fighter, but I wanted to make him into the best fighter that people will be interested in, an interesting pick, and also a request that I wanted to put together to add on, because we still have solo reps, and Garfield definitely deserves to have another rep from his show get in. Jon Arbuckle is definitely ideal, so I wanted to make him as great as possible for this particular video for today. But he does have, just like I mentioned, he does have some confidence issues around ladies. He gets shy, he can't even talk sometimes, and he'll be shook, completely shook. He's shaking up and messing up his words and things like that. He'll start stumbling. And when you go and watch the show, Garfield is there for him to really try to help him out and boost his confidence, and to give him suggestions and ideas and to advise him, which is pretty funny in a way. But sometimes, most of the time, if not all the time, things don't just work out for him, and he just doesn't come off as an interesting person for the ladies, and people are not really interested in Jon Arbuckle. They're usually annoyed by Jon Arbuckle. They don't want him around. They want him to leave. And they want them out of their face, they want him out of their faces, and they just don't want anything to do with Jon Arbuckle. But he does end up having an actual special connection and a relationship with Liz from the show if you guys start watching this, and you'll be able to see how he ends up trying to develop and build off that bond and make that connection stronger. But that's basically everything I can tell you about Jon Arbuckle for his personality. He's clumsy. He makes a lot of mistakes. He's different. He acts a little bit different. He's a really funny person, and you guys gotta watch the show. He's a funny character, and I think he'll be an absolute blast in this game that everybody will want to give him a shot. And I think as a DLC character, maybe in a potential second wave or something like that, they can add him in for an ideal character to keep this game going. But that's the backstory for Jon Arbuckle. You'll be able to find out more of what he gets into and just more of his disasters and things that he ends up doing. He dresses different, and he's all about, almost left this out, he's fashion. He's all about fashion as well. So you see some of the things that he wears is completely different and a little bit tacky once we get into the costumes and more. But That's his story. It's just a little bit about Jon Arbuckle. Now we're going to get into the stages. Let's back it up just like I usually do. Let's get into the stages, and what we have for a Garfield stage is Food Dreams. And just as you can see, Odie is a background character that you can already see from the picture within the star, just right in the middle. Odie is a background character, but I didn't want to just have him come out. If he does come out as DLC, these DLC characters need to come out with stages. Let's stop with the stage variations. We need actual new stages so we can be able to have more, the players can have more to play on, and we have more options instead of just the same options. Well, it's the same stage, but it's just a different variation. It's the same stage, but just 3, 2, or maybe a single platform. 3, 2, or 1, just individual platform, and then a flat surface for the competitive fighting. We don't need all those stage variations. We need actual new stages outside of just these two that are really well done. I love the music in Timeless Star Dial. They should have just had a new song for Country. It has the same song as Jellyfish Fields. We need some variety. So for stages and ideas for Jon Arbuckle, I selected 2. I went with Jon's house that they can add, so they don't just have to settle with this. He could come out with a stage. Let's get Jon's house in it as an ideal stage. And then from Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3, I pulled this one in. Arbuckle Farm, that can also be a nice little stage to be able to fight on. Don't y'all think? It'll look nice. How about the Arbuckle Farm from Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3? It's a nice and well-designed stage, a well-designed track, in Kart Racers 3. That's another stage that I ended up deciding on to add in for what he can get in, for what he can have for his DLC. But I definitely think they'll probably go with Jon's house, Jon Arbuckle's house, and they could almost play like the Loud House a little bit from the first game. We could be outside his house, and then they could have different background characters. Odie could probably show up again. We could probably see Nermal, Liz, and other characters in the background from the city. You know what I mean? So just some little ideas for that for stages. So just 2 main stages, but I definitely think they'll definitely choose Jon's house as an ideal stage. If anybody else out there has different stage ideas, you can also drop them in the live premiere or into the chat if you want to, for the or into the comments if you want to. Let's move on to the costumes now. So I wanted to not only just look them up and find them. My battery is low for my controller, but it showed up twice for some reason. I don't know why I did that. I don't know if y'all saw that. It said battery is low, but hopefully it's not gonna cut out. But anyway, that distracted me when it popped up. It showed up twice for some reason. But let's continue on to the costumes. So my controller to die out, put my charger in. But I didn't just want to list Jon Arbuckle's costumes. I wanted to also be able to find the references in the actual episodes and do the digging and research myself instead of just listing the costumes. You guys will be able to see them and be able to watch the episodes and the clips where he wears these costumes and things like that. And just like I mentioned, he has a idea. He's all about fashion and always wants to make sure he looks good, especially for his dates that he tries to get ready for the ladies out there during the show. He wants to try to look good and look great for his dates, but he's definitely a fashion kind of guy. So the first costume, I went with Jon's yellow polo shirt because this was what I found out. This was consistently worn throughout the series. And then I also went with his fashion suit where Jon wears a blue and purple checkered suit jacket, a pink button-up shirt, purple and yellow polka dot and bow tie, blue and purple checkered pants, and brown shoes. And this is from the Garfield comics that I picked up. I didn't take everything from the comics, of course, because I wanted to try to find actual episodes and do the digging and find some ideal things that he can wear that I think will be cool, really cool costumes. Just like Garfield has some really good ones as well. Unfortunately, he did not have a Halloween costume and he didn't wear anything for Halloween. like Garfield was dressed as a pirate. You know, Garfield and Odie were pirates. You know what I mean? So Jon Arbuckle just basically had his regular outfit, his usual blue shirt, blue pants, and brown shoes. So he didn't really have like a Halloween outfit. So I did find a disco outfit, and I called this Disco Jon, that I think will look really cool, that people will like. Jon tries on loads of outfits before Liz's arrival for Thanksgiving dinner. And this particular outfit, he wears a full white suit, pants, and white dress shoes with fancy hair. In Garfield's Thanksgiving episode, check that out, Garfield's Thanksgiving, you can barely be able to spot a good variety of costumes that he wears and tries on, and tries to get Garfield's approval on what he can wear before Liz shows up for the Thanksgiving dinner date. So Disco Jon was the best one that stood out to me, and I thought maybe the fans out there and Jon Arbuckle fans will really enjoy that as a nice ideal costume, you know, outside of just his fashion suit and his yellow polo shirt. I also added in his brown dance suit from when he wore a brown suit, a yellow shirt inside, and he had a red tie, brown pants, and brown shoes to the dance floor after ditching his date. He said, "Let's cut it up." Let's cut it up. He went right outside he hit the dance floor, and he left his date hanging at the bar, which is really messed up. So this brown dance suit, I think a lot of people will definitely recognize from that clip when he ditched his date. And you can also look up this clip where Jon Arbuckle is dancing. I came up with some cool ideas for this as well. So his brown dance suit is the next costume that I had ended up selecting from the clip, and you guys will be able to see this once I get into the winning animation. When I get into his winning animation, you guys will be able to see that same suit and also his dance that he does from the clip, so y'all can see it for yourselves. One more final costume that I wanted to give him, that I found, a Christmas costume. And remember how I think it was Helga and Ren and Stimpy were the only characters in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl from the first game who had Christmas themed costumes. Ren and Stimpy only wore Christmas hats, but it still counts. Helga and Ren and Stimpy were the only two characters in the first game that had their Christmas outfits. And for something I noticed from this game, correct me if I'm wrong, none of these characters have Christmas themed outfits. I don't think none of them do. It's like they stopped adding those Christmas outfits. So I added Jon Arbuckle's Christmas elf outfit, where Jon dresses as an elf on Christmas Day, and he wears a green tunic and green shoes with jingle bells on them. Both the tunic and the shoes had jingle bells on it. So you can check this out from a Garfield Christmas special. So those are all the costumes that I end up selecting for him that I think would be ideal. He did have some different outfits on that maybe some others will probably end up adding in, different types of different shirts he would wear, and just some of the colors are all over the place, but you know, it looks a little bit tacky, but it definitely fits his character and it's more ideal that way. So I wanted to try to put those as the best costumes that I think would be something that the developers could use and I see him wearing in this actual game. But it just sucks that he didn't have a Halloween costume. I'm a huge Halloween person. Garfield and Odie the only ones that had Halloween costumes, but he chose not to dress up. But let's get into the taunts and animations. I wanted to make these as great as possible for some of y'all, and it's just fun just being able to see these. I was a little bit mixed up with one of these. I'm gonna start just getting into it. I gave him for his taunts. Let's start with these. The fight dance. He said a winner never quits, a quitter never wins. This was a song Jon Arbuckle was singing, telling his team that they shouldn't let Garfield win, and I got this from the Basket Brawl. That's where I got it from. So I thought this would be something that he can do. It's a dance that he does in the kitchen. It almost looks like similar to the chicken dance. A winner never quits, a quitter never wins. So he could say that when he does the dance as a little bit of an idea. So it's just something that I added for one of his taunts. And then the next one, something that I almost forgot to share, Jon Arbuckle frequently finds himself bored, so I think he can express himself in a battlefield and he can say, nothing new, no excitement. So I think this can really be a nice little opponent, a nice little taunt to intimidate your opponent, because you become bored and you're already gonna win and they're not much of a challenge. It could be something utilized like that for a for some kind of a intimidating taunt to really get in your opponent's head. You know, once you knock him out, and he said, no excitement, nothing new, no excitement, and he'll look, you know, he'll just look bored with his head down, things like that, with his eyes low, where he's just not interested. He's not interested in the fight, and he's already set to win. So a no excitement sort of expression of a taunt could be something that I think you guys are also like. Let me know what some of the taunts that y'all think he'll probably want to do. I didn't want to give him his dance as a taunt, you know, that main dance that he does on the dance floor. I turned it into a winning animation. We're going to start talking about the winning and losing animations that I came up with. So for both the winning and losing animations, I have clips, 2 different separate clips to represent the winning animation, which I'm about to get ready to get into, and then the losing animation, also what he could look like when he loses a fight, when he loses the battle. So let's get into the winning animation. And this is not only just a winning animation, I thought it could also be viewed, some people might see it differently. Oh, it should definitely be a taunt. It goes hand in hand. Some people might say, oh, it should be it'll be better as a infinite taunt that he can do, because remember how they had infinite taunts that you could just keep on doing from the first game, or just different alternative taunts. And then some characters had infinites, like SpongeBob being able to infinitely sweep like he did for his stage performance at Krusty Krab. That would be something. I thought I was a little bit confused of what I wanted to do, but instead I'm making it towards, I'm more for it being a winning animation for him to do this iconic dance. It's called Disco Never Dies. That's why I end up calling it, because when he finished the dance, someone in the crowd in the background saying disco is dead. So I thought this would be something that I could reference to be the perfect name of this winning animation. Disco Never Dies. So Jon Arbuckle dances by kicking both legs out. It can be a long loop of the dance moves he performs, opening his jacket with the step back, the smooth spinning moves that he does, and so much more. I think this will be an awesome infinite taunt, in one of the best taunts, if not one of the greatest animations, winning animations in the game, that could be really funny for the fans out there who love Jon Arbuckle. So I would have the video example as well that y'all can click on from the description if y'all want to check out this dance that he does. This is definitely, if he does get into the game, this needs to be in the game for sure. And I think it'll be a lot of fun to do, not only just on the battlefield, but also just to watch him dance and put on these fancy moves in the winner circle as a winning animation. So let me know what y'all think. So the losing animation, we're going to get into this. So for his losing animation, Jon Arbuckle's shirt, pants, and shoes can be torn apart and ripped. His hair can be messy while seeing stars float above his head. So check out the animation example for this losing animation from the clip if you want for the description, just like you can for the winning animation. I could not find the episode. Maybe someone else can help me find it, or where it's from, because he tells Garfield to shut up. He said, oh, shut up. I don't know what he said. I don't know what else he said to him. But maybe someone out there can help me find where the episode is from. And I also dropped the timestamp, because it takes place at in this clip 1 minute and 13 seconds, where you can see him beating down his shirt and clothes is ruined and things like that. He can look just like that in a losing animation. It'll be perfect. So those are the winning animations and his taunts that I could come up with that would be ideal. I just didn't want to have him have a dance just to, well, he could just dance and just make it look plain. I wanted to do the extra research and digging to give him more for the viewer and for the player, if they're going to really give this character a chance and want to look into him, I wanted to make the taunts and animations as best as possible. And I think these can be realistic of what he can do on the battlefield, and also what he could look like as far as animations when whether he wins or he loses. Now, the big part of this whole entire request is the move set. I wanted to make this as great as possible and make him not only strong but also unpredictable. And just a goofy character. Maybe you can think of Hugh Neutron in a way, you know, for memes and things like that. But I think it's just going to make him really dangerous and easily one of the most unpredictable characters in the roster if he gets in. The big question is he going to get in, or are we going to get more for this game? That's the big question. But how can he play? So let's get into it, and I'll share everything that I put together for him in the description that y'all can also check out. So Jon Arbuckle is known to be very clumsy, so I thought maybe I could do a little something with that to help make him a little bit unpredictable, because he'll mess up sometimes on the battlefield. And I think that's where the door to creativity for the developers, if he gets into this game or the next game or whatever they decide to do, it's going to make Jon Arbuckle fighter potential, because you don't know what he's going to do next. So he's going to be unpredictable, where you can be able to perform all types of things to keep your opponent off guard. So the first move that I came up with, since he has a love for lasagna just like Garfield, I thought Jon will be able to have this kind of move, because Garfield doesn't have something like this. He gets that sugar rush, which is completely different from you know, he doesn't really eat lasagna and things like that. He'll throw pie, and then he'll leave out some sweets that you can pick up, and it'll increase his sugar rush bar, and then you can use the sugar rush to make him faster. So I did something a little bit different. I utilized Jon Arbuckle's love for the lasagna also with Garfield's, but Garfield does not have anything to do with lasagna in his move kit. So in his move pool for Jon Arbuckle, I gave this first move lasagna time, so Jon can fulfill his cravings by eating his favorite lasagna. He'll be able to recover a little bit of HP and a little bit of I want to say HP, but just a little bit of damage that he recently received. Who was I thinking about when I came up with this? Not even just with Garfield, because he loves lasagna. Iroh, because he just came out. And little do you know, if you haven't tried him out, when Iroh drinks his tea, he can drink his tea throughout the battle, and he also gets the benefit for his fire powers, or his firebending powers, or firebending gets extended range, and they also get stronger. But while he drinks the tea, he also recovers 15%. I think that's the amount he actually gets. He recovers 15% of the damage that he basically received, and he can just continue to drink it over time. So I gave Jon a little bit of lasagna that he can eat when he gets a chance to recover a little bit, and they can balance it out, just like they did with Iroh. He can drink tea during the battle. Jon Arbuckle is going to be able to eat lasagna. Now let's go back. His next move, we don't know if he's going to get into the game. So remember how Odie's a background character, and then on top of that, let's click on it. Rocco has Spunky as a summon. Remember in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl from the first game, from Hardcore Chores, Spunky was able to be spotted in the background, but yet Spunky was also involved into Rocco's moveset as a summon. So I did that for Odie, for Jon Arbuckle, to be able to summon Odie on the field. So Jon can summon his dog, his trusty bestie, Odie, onto the battlefield for a limited amount of time to attack enemies. And Odie is going to work a little bit differently compared to Rocco's dog Spunky. So with this move, Odie's going to be able to scout for nearby enemies. He'll be able to scout for nearby enemies. He will also be able to chase down, if Odie spots you on the battlefield, he's going to automatically start chasing you. So you don't have to worry about manual control with Goddard when you bring him out, which is still unique with Jimmy's dog, Goddard. Odie's going to be AI control, so he's going to be able to scout for Jon Arbuckle for nearby enemies and be able to back him up. So he'll be the scout for nearby enemies and chase them down, and then Odie has the ability to leap into the air on anyone who's been spotted. So this is just something for him to be featured in his move kit just in case Odie doesn't get into the game. So just because you think you're gonna jump, you think you're gonna jump over Odie and get away, he's gonna jump up with you and be able to leap. So you'll definitely have to watch out. You might even have to air dodge to get away from Odie. So I thought that'll be a little bit something spicy to make him a little bit better and superior to Spunky, because you can have control and call upon Spunky and tell him to turn and have him change direction. The AI is going to be able to focus on anybody that's near Jon, and also be able to start chasing down enemies and opponents on the battlefield to really be annoying, and also be a nuisance to just be able to have Jon Arbuckle really get an advantage. So you're not going to just have to worry about Jon Arbuckle. Odie's going to be someone that you're really going to have to try to work around. You might even have to waste the air dodge, or maybe take a little hit, get bit by Odie, take a little damage by Odie, just so you can dodge Jon's next attack. Like this one, for example. So this one, I gave him a little bit of something similar to Squidward, but I wanted to make it different. And I don't like making things too similar. I like giving them the upgrade and making them expanding so they stand out and are not the same thing. So it's not a rush moveset or anything like that. I wanted to make it better. This next move, breaking point. So Jon Arbuckle reaches his breaking point and his face turns completely bright red. His movement speed and all attacks deal even more damage. And as a bonus, he's going to receive super armor for a limited amount of time. So this is going to be definitely a whole completely different upgrade than Squidward's anger or his tantrum that he has in this game. So Jon Arbuckle definitely loses his cool in the show. So I definitely think this will be something ideal for him to have in his move kit or in his move set, for him to be able to unleash his anger and his frustrations. Something a little bit dangerous, the spicy hot sauce is his next move. Jon Arbuckle will drink a bottle of hot sauce, causing his mouth to create a blast of flames, dashing quickly across the stage. It'll be something different than Reptar's, because he's going to be on the move. So once he starts drinking a little bit of that hot sauce, because Garfield actually gave him hot sauce to try to wash down the food that he was having, it's the perfect reference and something that can definitely belong. It'll be better than Reptar's because he'll be able to move. He's going to be able to move, but Reptar has to stand still and be neutral to shoot a fireball and to maybe fire a fire blast. Even for his down special, I think it was when he ignites the ground on fire for a few seconds, he has to stand still. So with Jon Arbuckle's spicy hot sauce, he's going to be on the move, and he's going to be able to burn you while he's able to dash across. This move is going to be able to knock back enemies and inflict the burn status, damaging you over time. So that's the spicy hot sauce that I end up giving him for something, that Garfield gave him. So that'll be nice to have that implemented. It can also be an item too, some kind of new item for players to also be able to drink the hot sauce and be able to have their mouths on fire. And some of y'all out there will probably be able to notice and pick this up. Remember the spicy curry from Super Smash Bros? I forgot which game it was. Was it in Super Smash Bros. Brawl? I think, if I'm not mistaken, where you pick up the spicy curry. That's what I was trying to think. Instead of having it as an item, it could be something that Jon Arbuckle can be able to do. When they pick up that spicy curry, every fighter, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Mario, and all the other characters, their mouths get on fire, and you were able to move and be able to burn the opponent. It can work just like that with the spicy hot sauce, but it's only going to be exclusive to Jon Arbuckle. But it also can be an item. So I thought that'll be something that they can do, something different from Reptar's, his flame techniques. Now, something a little bit just expanded and just more that he can do. I wanted to utilize his cooking, and I'm thinking about Grandma Gertie, because she has a little bit of some techniques where she grabs you with the down duration, her down grab. Just like stir it up. She can do something like that. She does that, and then she also throws a cooking pot that explodes. But I wanted to give Jon Arbuckle a little bit something more extra. Projectiles. Cooking gone wrong is what I called this move in the set of projectile attacks. Jon Arbuckle can throw all sorts of random food and ingredients. So this first set, the turkey oven, Jon can quickly set a Thanksgiving turkey inside of an oven, catching fire in 500 degrees, and it will create a large explosion, launching enemies in the air. And you can actually get this and see him trying to really attempt to cook stuff for Thanksgiving before Liz arrives at Garfield's Thanksgiving. Well, in the Garfield's Thanksgiving, or from that episode that I brought up earlier today, you could be able to see him try to throw the turkey right into the oven and things like that, or the microwave, I believe it was. It could be something funny, something goofy, but this will also probably be able to damage him if he gets caught in the explosion. It can also be able to hurt him as well. Pancakes, something different. Jon Arbuckle can throw 3 different types of pancakes: the normal regular pancakes, blueberry, and chocolate chip. Salt and pepper. Jon can throw small bottles of salt and pepper one after another across the battlefield. These are just a variety of different projectiles. They can probably balance it out where some of these will probably do a little bit more. Maybe between the 3 different flavors of pancakes. Blueberry and chocolate dealing the most, and then the normal just doing its regular damage. And then I also threw in kitchen silverware, where Jon can also throw spoons, forks, and knives. And something with the knives in particular, the knives will be able to travel a lot faster across the screen in comparison to the spoons and the forks. So just something to really have something to do with the kitchen and his enjoyment of cooking, because he loves cooking up stuff and making things in the kitchen. It could be something that he could cook up and be able to serve Grandma Gertie with some surprises that she won't see coming. So this would be something that would be awesome, that I think can be realized. So just different variety of projectiles, and that turkey oven as well is going to be dangerous, and it's also going to be able to hurt him as well. So I think that's really going to be something that he can do for something with his cooking, his enjoyment for cooking gone wrong, for different varieties of projectiles that's going to make him dangerous. So he could really be able to set you up with that turkey oven, and while it's getting ready to explode, he can just be throwing projectiles at you, play keep away, while Odie out there looking for you and scouting. That's going to be a dangerous combination. Play that turkey oven that's about to get ready, 500 degrees, about to get ready to explode. Do you dodge the oven that's about to get ready to explode with a large blast radius, or do you take the hit for Odie, or do you just take the hits from the projectiles? You know, it's definitely going to make him a huge issue on the battlefield when you have to keep an eye out for so much stuff. So he won't be able to spam the oven that's going to explode on the field, because it'll have to go away and explode itself, so that way you can't replace it. You gotta wait for it to explode first. So that's I think that'll be a cool little setup of a little combo if those moves get in, or just something like that as an idea for what I came up with. Now, just with his goofiness, stumbling, so I wanted to make him clumsy. I wanted to use his clumsiness, at least something for his moves for the setup where Jon Arbuckle will be able to fall over and be clumsy and make mistakes in the battle. So I think this was probably going to make him a little bit of a risk. Jon Arbuckle can clumsily fall over himself, rolling into enemies. This move can sometimes fail, causing him to fall flat on his face, making him more vulnerable. Anybody remember how some of the Smash Bros characters can sometimes trip and they fall? That could be something realistic for Jon Arbuckle's moveset exclusively for him, where he'll be able to fall over. He'll be able to hit you, but sometimes it won't always go well. So you could probably take that risk. And being clumsy, he can just basically flop and choke that move that you might need. You could just stumble and knock someone out. If you gotta knock them back, it'll have some good knockback. But if you mess it up, it can cost you the match. It's just with that one little hit that you just need, and Jon Arbuckle can just make a mistake and trip over himself, falling flat on his face, and then the opponent can just capitalize and just knock you out. So I thought a little bit of stumbling to add into his moveset to make him a little bit goofy, just to fit his character. Now a little combo attack, and then we're going to get into the recovery and the ultimate to wrap up. He can be able to smack you with a newspaper. Jon can attack using a newspaper roll for a short combo. So I thought this could be something that he could use, a newspaper roll. A roll of newspaper. It does hurt though. Somebody smack you with a little newspaper. Not even if it might just be a light tap, but somebody really try to smack you with a newspaper, that's definitely gonna hurt. So I thought this would be something that can make the most sense for a little bit of an additional attack for Jon Arbuckle. So his recovery, I came up with jumping Johns instead of jumping jacks. So in this clip for this video example, you could see him actually take flight for a little bit. Jon Arbuckle does jumping jacks so fast it allows him to fly for a short period of time. I couldn't come up with anything else as far as an ideal recovery for him. Maybe someone else might have some suggestions, but you can check it out in this video example for his recovery. If y'all want to see him trying to do jumping jacks and things like that outside to try to work out and exercise, he does the jumping jacks so fast he just starts flying and he flaps his arms really quickly. That could be something that they can use that I can really visually see as a recovery move. So I definitely wanted to do the research and try to find something. I don't want to just come up with something. I wanted to make something that can really make sense for him to really be able to use as a recovery animation. The final part is the super or the ultimate attack that I came up with. Muscular Jon Arbuckle. So almost kind of think of Wario when he transforms. Here I go. He can transform and be able to become muscular Jon Arbuckle. He transforms and becomes super strong, growing his long wavy hair out and his muscles expand. So his slime meter will be able to drain over time, and during this time, Jon will be able to attack all enemies in his way. So he's gonna really be able to go crazy and just be able to move pretty quickly. So I was almost thinking about Wario Man, whatever costume, I forgot what costume he wears, and be able to fly around. But of course Jon won't be able to fly while he's in this super or in this transformation. I wanted to use this as something that he could be able to move. So also I'll just share it, I didn't put it in the notes. I thought maybe Liz could give him a little old kiss and it can make him a little bit stronger, and he can transform for a little bit of an animation. Liz can give him a nice little kiss on the cheek, and then it can allow him to become stronger, to make him super strong, and to be able to boost his confidence. See what I'm saying? It could be something like that. They can do something as an ideal animation, but I didn't put that. I was thinking about doing something like that to make him super strong. In the game that I played, that I was also thinking about when I was coming up with that little idea with the Liz kiss, is Spyro the Dragon, because Spyro gets a magical kiss from one of the fairies and he transforms with all new abilities. If you play Spyro the Dragon from the PS1 era, one of the best games, it made me think of that in a way. So they can create that as another ideal animation. Even if he cannot move, and just when you use a super in this game, the bar just depletes whether you hit or miss. It could be a part of a cinematic scene for something like that, where she can kiss him and he transforms. It can probably be something like that, but I just made it a little bit different. That was just another idea I wanted to share, but I just didn't put it in my notes of ideas to complete his moveset for the super. But let me know what y'all think of what he could possibly do. I didn't want to do that dance. Oh, he could just do his dance for the super. That could just be a winning animation or a taunt. It could be both a winning animation and a taunt. I don't want him to just be doing all those fancy tricks. It'll be funny to see as a a cool cinematic scene with him doing all those moves that he did on the dance floor. You know, that'll be cool. Just break out in the disco dance and pulling all those moves, spinning into you and things like that. That can also be something too to make him give him mobility while he's able to perform those dancing moves. See how Luigi does those different acrobatics and ballerina and things like that for his super. I think that was from Super Smash Bros. Brawl with his ultimate Final Smash. He did all those dance moves and performances. That could be something. It could, but it's so many different things. But I just think him being muscular with his muscle expansions and getting that confidence that he so desperately needs and needs to have as he goes on, it'll be something that can fit his ultimate attack. So that's everything that I came up with as far as his moveset. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I definitely had a lot of fun putting this together. I wanted to make him as best as I could, and y'all can list changes that y'all want to, critique it on what you would like to change, and maybe some costumes that you would add on. Maybe you'll replace something, maybe you'll change something, maybe you'll add more to it for his moveset. But his dance is definitely something that's going to be iconic and a lot of fun. I think a lot of people will love to see in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. They got a lot of good characters. We need new shows, of course, but Garfield's only a solo rep, and both Odie and Jon Arbuckle I think could be separate characters of their own. But I put Odie in his moveset as someone that's ideal that could be a summon, just like Spunky, but a little bit better with a lot more to offer to be able to be an issue in the game and during the fights and things like that. Let me know what y'all think. We definitely need to get more. I'm gonna say this now, I'm not sure if we're gonna get a new game. It's too early for one. This game is not even 300, it hasn't been around for 365 days, hasn't been a year old, and I hope it doesn't end. Hopefully we could get more characters like Jon Arbuckle that I think will also be able to benefit the product, create sales, get players interested, and things like that. It'll be perfect for characters for him to be able to get into the game. Different variety of characters. We definitely need some more new shows. Let's get some communication, some good marketing. I think he'll definitely help the marketing as far as the sales and things like that. He might even sell more than some of these characters that we got from the season pass, being open and honest. He might. But that's if they have to make those moves to try to get the characters in. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But let me know what y'all think. We got the timestamps going to be in there. The moveset is going to be posted. And we'll also have some of the clips and references that I came up with, so y'all can check out and see what he does. Definitely recommend the show. He's definitely a great character with a lot of potential. And I think he's definitely going to be one of the most, if not the most, unpredictable character or fighter that could be in this game.